The land appears without warning, a vast, silent fortress of stone rising from the Arctic wilderness, as if the Earth itself decided to stop hiding its strength. No roads lead here, no paths invite you in. This is a place that reveals itself only to those willing to cross distance, cold, and isolation. Most people never see it, most never even hear its name. Here, time does not move forward. It sinks downward, into rock, into water, into silence. The Putorana Plateau spreads across northern Siberia like a forgotten continent, an immense volcanic tableland carved by ice and water, untouched by cities, untouched by crowds, untouched by urgency. From above, it looks endless. From within, it feels infinite. The stone beneath this land is ancient beyond imagination. Over 250 million years ago, the Earth ruptured here in one of the most violent volcanic events in planetary history. Lava did not erupt in mountains, it flooded. Rivers of fire spilled across the land for hundreds of thousands of years, stacking layer upon layer of basalt until the ground rose into a colossal plateau. This eruption reshaped the world. It darkened the sky, it poisoned oceans, it erased most life on Earth. And from that extinction, this land was born. Today, the plateau stands like a monument to planetary survival. Flat-topped mountains stretch to the horizon, their edges sliced into sheer cliffs. Deep canyons fracture the stone, plunging downward into shadow and cold. The geometry feels unnatural, perfectly horizontal layers cut by vertical drops, as if the land were carved deliberately by something with patience and power. Water rules this place now. Thousands of rivers spill across the plateau, uninterrupted by dams or diversions. They gather speed and then disappear, falling suddenly into space. Waterfalls plunge from the edges of basalt cliffs in endless succession, some taller than skyscrapers, some hidden deep within canyons that sunlight barely reaches. In spring and summer, when snow releases its grip, the land becomes alive with motion. Mist rises from falls that never stop flowing. The sound echoes through stone corridors, bouncing between cliffs carved by ice ages long past. This is one of the most water-rich regions on Earth, yet it is locked in cold. Winter returns early and leaves late. Temperatures sink far below freezing. Rivers slow, then freeze solid. Waterfalls turn to ice mid-fall, suspended in motion like frozen ghosts. Snow buries the plateau under a white silence that lasts most of the year. The paradox is complete. So much water, so much life, so much cold. Glaciers once ruled here, grinding the plateau into shape. They carved U-shaped valleys and over-deepened basins that later filled with water. Today, those basins form enormous lakes, dark, cold, and impossibly deep. Some stretch for dozens of kilometers, their surfaces mirror smooth when the wind rests, black as obsidian when storms arrive. The lakes absorb the sky. Clouds drift across them like slow-moving thoughts. Nothing disturbs their surface except wind, rain, or the passing shadow of a bird. Life survives quietly here. Reindeer move across the tundra in patient lines, navigating the plateau by memory older than maps. Arctic foxes vanish into stone-colored ground, leaving no trace. Wolves pass unseen through valleys, their presence known only by silence that feels suddenly heavier. In the rivers, fish thrive in icy clarity, adapted to short summers and long darkness. Above, migratory birds arrive in brief explosions of sound and motion, nesting along cliffs and shores before leaving again, as if they too understand that this land does not belong to them for long. Human presence is rare, fleeting, almost mythic. Indigenous hunters once traveled these valleys seasonally, reading the land with an intimacy modern eyes no longer possess. They moved lightly, leaving little behind, understanding that survival here depended on respect, not control. Even today, traces of that relationship remain faintly etched into memory rather than stone. The plateau does not forgive mistakes. Storms rise without warning. Fog rolls in and erases distance. Temperatures fall suddenly, stealing heat from the unprepared. In winter, darkness dominates. In summer, daylight refuses to leave, circling the sky endlessly while time feels suspended. The silence here is not empty, it is full of wind moving through canyons, full of water carving stone grain by grain, full of geological time pressing down on the present moment. Standing on the edge of the plateau, the scale becomes overwhelming. The land stretches outward in every direction, fractured but unified, raw but balanced. No single feature dominates. Everything feels equally powerful: mountain, river, sky. This is wilderness without performance. No spectacle designed for admiration, no comfort built for visitors. The Putorana Plateau exists for itself. Each season redraws it. Snow smooths its sharp edges. Ice locks its rivers. Summer reveals color briefly. Lichen on stone, moss in wet ground, wildflowers blooming fast and low before cold returns. Then winter erases it all again, resetting the land to its most elemental form. This cycle has repeated for millions of years. The plateau has watched continents shift, climates change, species rise and vanish. It has endured heat that killed worlds and cold that reshaped mountains. And still, it remains, vast, silent, indifferent. From above, it looks like an abstract painting. From within, it feels like a cathedral. There are no walls here, yet everything feels enclosed by scale. No ceiling, yet the sky presses close. The land does not inspire fear, it inspires humility. This is the earth without translation, without labels, without explanation. A place where geology tells the story and time does the talking. Most people will never stand here, never hear the waterfalls echo through basalt corridors, never watch mist rise from a lake untouched by engines or voices, never feel what it means to be completely irrelevant to the landscape around them. And perhaps that is why this place matters. In a world increasingly shaped by human hands, the Putorana Plateau remains unfinished by us. A reminder that the planet is not fragile, it is patient. That nature does not rush, that silence can be powerful and distance can be sacred. Here, the earth does not ask to be seen, it waits. And in that waiting, it reminds us of something we have almost forgotten, that before we arrived, the world was already whole.